just like saying something about the Qibla?
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه ومن والاه. Welcome everybody to the Safina Society Nothing But Facts live stream on an absolutely gorgeous Thursday, the last stream of the week, but it is so pretty out here in the great state of New Jersey, and you know that the weather, humidity goes up, and then rains like crazy, and the next week is going to be gorgeous because now the humidity's down and the sun is out and the weather's beautiful. But you know it's not beautiful? The absolute utter crisis and really the stain of this whole era of post-World War II era, and really the end. This is the end of the post-World War II era, in which the Western nations came in and they were going to have peace, and we're going to make sure everything is peaceful. It's over. Okay, based on what's happening in Rafah, and they are underwriting this. And New York Times has an article: deadly strike in Rafah does not cross Biden's red line. If you're on Instagram, hop over to YouTube, Safina Society's YouTube channel, and you could subscribe and hit the little bell for the notifications. But I'm looking here at the pictures of the strike, which was so bad that even Netanyahu himself had to say it was an accident. Okay, and that tells you how bad it is. When you have people running for their lives and you bomb them in the name that there possibly was a Hamas leader there, when the whole world knows that's, this is it, the civilization. You have the moral authority is a zero right now. It's negative, actually. You are a harm to society. The U.S. and Israel are now putting themselves, you are a harm to civilized society. If you underwrite this and approve of it and do it, you're a problem. I mean, President Biden threatened to cut off the supply of some weapons in Israel if Israel mounts a major offensive in Rafah. Okay? Of course, this threat is nonsense. He can't do anything. He has no power whatsoever. The lobby is in complete control of the United States, if you ask anybody, and they have it like puppets. But we haven't seen that. We haven't seen a major offensive in Rafah. Of course, they're just denying reality. Denying reality is the new thing. Once you enter the world of denying reality and it becomes a day-to-day thing, denying reality, khalas, that civilization is dead. And it's just a matter of time until the death appears on the outside. So the society dies on the inside. Unlike a human being, you die on the inside, immediately you can see that you're dead. But a society, probably like a tree, it's like dead on the inside, but it takes a little bit to see that it's dead on the outside. Denying reality is something that's all over Western society. On the liberal side, it exists with the transgender movement. That's nothing other than a movement of denying objective, visible reality right in front of our own two eyes. What is a male? What is a female? Okay. They're also denying reality that this is not a genocide and the end of your moral authority. Completely denying this reality. The conspiracy theories in the world and the right, everything about them is a conspiracy. They have no concept of separating fact from fiction. Whatever they want to believe, they make it a fact, and that's the whole Reddit crowd, right? Everything is a conspiracy. You got COVID, conspiracy. Election, conspiracy. Everything is a conspiracy. Okay? It's not what the facts are, it's just what they want to believe. So when you have a society that goes down this route, you could go wash your hands from that society and go do your own thing. And it's scary because if that trickles down to very simple things like parks and services or the sanitation department, then you have chaos. That's the scary part. When it's out there just in the ether, in theory, it doesn't affect anybody. But the theory may eventually become a reality. And now it starts to trickle down in actual daily life. And that's a problem. The Israeli military said it was engaging in close quarters combat. We have kids with no heads. Decapitated kids. 3 European countries formally recognized Palestinian statehood. Canadian foreign minister is completely up in arms by this. They made people speak who were otherwise like on the fence. Israel had not ordered Palestinians to leave the area that it struck on Monday, as if that would have made it so civilized and so clean. So before we bomb your country, we inform you to leave. Now, does that make you like civilized or something? Gazan officials say a strike killed 21 in Al-Mawasi, U.S.-built pier for delivering aid to Gaza, breaks apart in rough seas. John Kirby, White House spokesman, condemned the deadly Israeli airstrike in Rafah, but said that the attack was not enough to change U.S. policy. Nothing will be enough because they are controlled puppets. We all know this. What am I saying this for? We all know that they're just controlled puppets. U.S. officials said on Tuesday that the Israeli strike that killed dozens of Palestinians in southern Gaza was a tragedy, but that it did not violate President Biden's red line. The bloodshed came after Mr. Biden warned earlier this month that the U.S. would block certain arms transfers if Israel targeted heavily populated areas in Rafah, and they did exactly that. As if to test the system, as if to test the threat. Kirby said the deaths were devastating, but not enough. We haven't seen enough bloodshed to change our policy. Rear Admiral Daniel Hagari of the Israeli military insists that their munitions alone used in a strike in Rafah could not have ignited the deadly fire. So what are they saying? Is he saying they did it to themselves? Please. Israel's military said its troops were pressing on with their ground assaults in the Rafah area on Tuesday. They've taken over the border. Hilarious. Rough seas over this weekend broke 4 U.S. Army ships free of their moorings and damaged a temporary pier. That pier is a bunch of PR in the first place. It's a bunch of PR in the first. It's a PR operation in the first place, and they broke apart within 2 months. I'm not reading this stuff anymore. It's sickening, and this is really reaching the end. Just you got to look at the pictures. I'll tell you why I've looked at it, because the world has to testify. I'm looking at pictures. It's just absolute chaos. It must be here in this picture about 40 people on the back of a pretty big truck. Just don't know where they're going. Just fleeing. So if Rafah was an area for refugee encampments, it's no longer that. So where do you go? 1 million people are leaving Rafah, which was supposed to be the refugee area. 1 million people are leaving that. Israeli assaults continue. A member of Egypt's security forces was killed. Does he want sympathy? You've done nothing for these people. United States has asked Israel for more information. I mean, I'm not saying that about the person, because he's just following orders, but in general. You know the famous saying that I was eaten the day the Red Bull was eaten? Everyone knows this famous saying, right? You know this saying? So there's a white bull and a black bull and a Red Bull. You've never heard of this one? Oh my gosh, this is a famous one. There's a red bull and a black bull and a white bull. A wolf comes in, or a lion comes in and roars, and all the bulls stick together. And the lion realizes, I can't eat. So then he goes to one of the bulls and he says, hey, listen, red bull and black bull, just move aside. Let me just eat and I'll save you. I'll just eat the white bull. So he eats the white bull. Next time he gets hungry, a couple days later, he gets hungry again. This time he goes to the Red Bull. And he says, hey, listen, let's make a deal. Just move away, take a walk, take a coffee break, right? Let me eat, and I'll leave you alone. Oh, he naively says, oh, okay, good, at least I'm safe. And of course, third time he gets hungry, there's no one to defend him. So he says, I was eaten the day the white bull was eaten. In other words, the day that we started to behave like this and just let the bully beat up other people for our own safety, that's when we're all done. There's a famous Holocaust saying that they came first for the what was it? They first came for the communists and nobody said anything. Then Hitler came for the Polish, invaded Poland, nobody said anything. Then he invaded Czechoslovakia, nobody said anything. Then he came after I don't know who, and nobody said anything. Then finally, when they came after us, there's nobody left to say anything. It's a famous, saying about that. This is exactly what's happened to every Arab nation. Now, Israel now goes in, and which is not going to happen, I don't believe, and utterly was to bomb Egypt. Explain to me why anyone in the world would have 1% of sympathy for them. You sat there watching, seeing it happen to your brothers. Okay? By the way, someone sent a long rant of an email begging me to stop saying, okay. Do you guys notice it? It needs to be a little filler, but I guess he's gone crazy, right? A long rant. And he counted them, too. He must be a misbag. Is our guest here? Yeah. We have a guest here who's doing the real work. His name is Atiba Jones. We have a guest here that this is what I was talking about yesterday. Iblis wants us to deflect our virtues into the abode of non-reality. So he wants us to talk about theory all day long. And he wants us to talk about an imaginary future, and he wants us to talk about things to put our focus on things that are not tangible realities. What he doesn't want you to do is take your virtue and apply it to the people around you. That's what he doesn't want. The moment you take your virtue and your virtuous intentions and you start looking around you and you look at the mundane person that you've seen your whole life and for whom service to this person, khidmah to this person will not get you any attention, is not worthy of mentioning to anybody. This is the meaning where Prophet ﷺ said, "Huffat al-jannatu bil-makarih." The true paradise is surrounded by disliked things. Nobody will get attention for caring about their grandma. Nobody cares. But you go and travel to, for example, some war-torn territory, that's a video you can make. That's news. You go to the Rohingya area and you do service there, and you come back and you can say something. Yeah. You go around and help people who are in your local area find a job, get a ride to Jum'ah. No, there's nothing to write home about. But that's where the khair is first. And Imam al-Haddad said, when you see somebody who seeks to benefit those who are far, to the exclusion and the ignorance of those who are near, know that he's a munafiq. Within him is nifaq. He is a mura'i. He's a mura'i. He's someone who's showing off. Iblis wants the youth, the new converts into deen. I'm not saying convert into Islam. I'm saying newly penitent. He wants to deflect their good intention to theory. And I gave the examples of Marxists earlier before. I've never seen a Marxist say, hey guys, I got property, take some. No, he always wants to come up with some policy and theory that's out in the ether somewhere, that's out in the imagination somewhere, that's not something hard and fast that he's benefiting. That's what they're always talking, and having concern for policy. And you very rarely see them actually on the street helping regular people in thankless work. Karl Marx himself, did the guy ever share an apple with anybody? Did he ever split his sandwich with anybody? Karl Marx himself, right? Think about this. Why don't we ask this question? You care so much about the factory workers. Is it true that you never visited a factory? You know that I heard that? Look it up. Karl Marx himself never worked in a factory, yet you care so much. He is the prime example, and this is why he's Iblis's justice minister. And people care about justice. People love justice. So Satan has to have a branch of that, where your love of justice gets wasted, right? Your love of justice gets deflected so far out, you're actually probably worse afterwards. So Karl Marx is that guy. He's the guy who represents, and he sucks the people who naturally care about justice and naturally care about the poor. That's where it's good. But then how does he care about the poor? Does he say, oh, follower of mine, go help your mom. Go share food with your neighbor. No, he doesn't talk about anything practical. He talks about huge theories, okay, that have never been tried or tested. And then when they are tried and tested, they're an absolute utter failure. And within one generation, less than one generation, the Soviet Union and their leader is killing hundreds upon thousands, reaching to the millions of people by the end of Joseph Stalin's reign. The first guy, you could say, okay, he was an idealist, and he was seemingly a nice guy and a not violent guy. But then his successors, if you don't agree with them, they kill you. How was that? What was that? Hold on a second. First you take my wealth, now you take my life? What does it say?
It says that, but it's coming from one source. So
It's not hadith, so tell us what it is.
it's saying Karl Marx never paid a visit to a factory. He never traveled inside Russia. This lack of first-hand experience that restrained him from having the most negative kind of opinions about industrial capitalism and the Tsarist empire.
The guy, the source, what's the website?
Taylor and Francis online.
Sounds good to me. The website it brings you the what's said about Karl Marx. He never once visited a factory. Point being is that Iblis wants to deflect your virtue into theory. Our guest today is an exemplar of doing the opposite. He's taken this action and implementing it where there's not much to write home about. Hard work, blue-collar work, thankless work, and that's what the meaning of the hadith is. Paradise is surrounded with hardships. And one of the biggest hardships is the mundaneness of real, true work. But give it time, give it years, and you're going to see the fruits. You will see the fruits. Let's contrast that with all these. I'm picking on the socialists and Marxists. You know, we all hate them anyway, but easy target. But we're picking on them. Let's go his whole life. Marxist professor. Get me one from Rutgers. Name me one actual life that you altered. Get me 5 testimonials of people that you actually helped. No, it's just theory. All right, let's bring on our guest. Atiba Jones. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Alhamdulillah. Wassalatu wassalamu ala Rasulillah wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa man wala. Welcome to the Nothing But Facts live stream.
Alhamdulillah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah. We have a mutual friend. His name is Tariq Amir, and he is a young sheikh, and he's a chaplain, and he worked in the prison system. Now he's moving to the hospital system, and he's the one who introduced us. So let's start off right away with some biographicals. You're from Atlanta. Tell us about yourself and your life up until this moment where you're working with the youth.
Alhamdulillah. So Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Again, thank you so much for having me. So I'm actually originally from Philadelphia, born and raised, and I've been in Atlanta since 2000. Moved down here to go to college originally, and been here really ever since. So while I was studying at Morehouse, after my sophomore year, I got a chance to travel to Syria to study for a few months, and simultaneously I got a chance to work with some orphan boys, and it was kind of in that moment that I realized that, you know, working with youth was what I was supposed to do, right? So came back to Atlanta, changed my major to education. I've been at it ever since. You know, I've been able to, Allah has really given me opportunity to work with youth in almost every capacity imaginable, right? So as a teacher, mental health counselor, starting schools and summer camps and
Amazing.
school programs and all types of things dealing with youth. Got a chance to go overseas for a couple years to Kuwait, taught elementary school over there,
Hajj.
and alhamdulillah. So just that's all I've really been doing.
Okay, we're with Atiba Jones. If you're on Instagram, hop over to YouTube so you can see the full screen. Interestingly, you mentioned Atlanta. This week we had a guest. We had Ustad Jamaluddin Haisa, which I'm sure is somebody you know in Atlanta.
Yeah.
He talked so much about this at the end of the stream. He said that people come back from studying, they enter into the field of action, and sometimes there's a competition, or a riyah could stick into someone's heart that I want to do something that's going to be recognized. And that's the riyah a little bit of action, where I want to do something that's recognized. I would say there's a 50-50 to that. On the one hand, it's good that I want to be effective. I want to be effective. And how do I know if I'm effective? People's testimonials, right? So on the one hand, there's a fair side to it. On the other hand, it could ruin my intention. So that's why being praised, there is an acceptability of accepting it, because it's just an indicator that I'm doing something good. That's it. But it shouldn't be the reason I'm doing something good. So very interesting now that you're working here in a field of youth that is direct help of these youth. Tell us exactly what your institution does on a day-to-day basis with the youth. And you said it, your bio said here, focus on black youth who were incarcerated. Tell us about that.
So yes, so Save Institute is a nonprofit organization here in Atlanta. SAVE stands for Service, Agriculture, Vocational Training, and Entrepreneurship. Mm-hmm. All right. So as I mentioned earlier, I've been working with youth for a very long time. Almost every demographic of youth you could imagine. However, what we see and what the statistics show is that when you look at the incarceration rates, when you look at crime rates, murder rates, high school dropout rates, there's really one group that's at the top of the list in every single one of those categories, which is black male youth. All right. Unfortunately, so we know that that's not just by accident, right? It's by design, and it's as a result of several different types of systems being put in place. So what our organization does is really kind of what we say we replace the pipeline to prison with a pipeline to prosperity. Right, so we have programs that focus specifically on black male youth to uplift them overall, but then really help to save them from these negative cycles and put them on a path of success in every way.
Would you agree that fatherlessness is the number one reason that a person goes into crime?
It's certainly a huge factor, no doubt about it. I would say, though, that there is an underlying cause even deeper than a young person not having a father, right? Which is what I call purposelessness, right? So when you're talking about, like, look at all of the different types of factors, like the missing fathers, the educational systems, the influence of the music, the neighborhoods, all of these different things are real, right? However, what the common denominator that you see, one of the common denominators that you see is poverty, right? So poverty definitely has a huge impact, but even deeper than that is a lack of purpose. Because when you find a young person who has been given this in some way, this sense of purpose, then they're able to really overcome not having a father, growing up in a rough neighborhood, and all of these other negative things that they may be surrounded by. If you can give them that sense of purpose, then they really can, just overcome almost anything.
How do you meet these youth? What's the setting in which, the physical place in which you hang out with them?
Yeah, so right now we have two campuses, one right in the urban neighborhood, South Atlanta. And then we also have a new campus that we're building out that's about 30 minutes outside of the city. But but really, it really started here where we're currently located in South Atlanta with the youth right here in this neighborhood. And then from that, we began. So we first started. The very first thing we do was we took a group of 12 boys out on a camping trip, right? And then it turned into a retreat of 60 boys, and then the word began to spread. And to this point, we have families sending us their boys from all over the country.
Not Muslim and Muslim, doesn't matter.
Both, yes.
Unbelievable. Boys only, though.
Only boys.
So you meet at these camping trips. Do you plan to have your own center eventually?
We do already. We do.
You do already, mashallah.
So 3 years ago, fall 2021, we actually launched a full-time school. So we have now middle school and high school where students are able to come to our facility and they have a full school day. So they're able to go through our program. By the end of it, they're able to receive a high school diploma, certifications, vocational trades. They learn how to grow their own food, and they start their own businesses.
So it's a school where you also hire the teachers, or are they doing online school there?
It's all on site. We have a staff of teachers and vocational instructors, mentors. And,
okay, this is a game changer because that is a humongous endeavor.
Alhamdulillah.
So if anyone doesn't know, running a school, that means these people are in your care from 8 in the morning until 3 or 4 p.m. in the afternoon, and the adults that are on site need to receive their salaries and everything. Now you have a financial obligation, and I'm sure that these students, if there are troubled youth, then they're not necessarily paying tuition. Is that correct?
It's a tuition-free private school.
That's insane. So it's all by fundraising.
Yes.
Put the link in, please. This program needs to be supported. Everybody, can you tell me the website that you take your funds on?
thesaveinstitute.org.
Open that up, please, and share that screen for everybody to see while we're talking, because a private school. So these shabab are in your care all day, 5 days a week.
Not only that, we actually have a dormitory as well. So we have, like I said, we have families sending us their boys from around the country. So we have a dorm where some of the out-of-state boys are able to stay. So they're on site with us 24/7. Okay,
this keeps getting ratcheting it up. I don't understand how we have never heard of this, but that actually goes back to the ikhlas, right? That this child too busy to promote, because this thing needs to be supported by the whole country. This school of yours, the administration is Muslim, or just you? Like, is it Muslim run, or just you happen to be Muslim and the rest is not?
Yes, the administration is Muslim. The all of the instructors are Muslim, but the youth that we serve are, diverse backgrounds.
The percentage of those who don't have fathers?
Probably 60 to 70, probably at least 70%.
And the percentage of teachers, instructors that are males?
100%.
100%. All boys school, all boys, all male teachers. So that exactly what fits the bill, because we know that a lot of private schools, a lot of Islamic schools, they have maybe 90% female teachers.
Yes.
10% male teachers. That's why I asked that question, because it doesn't do the job. And in most cases, we're not expecting it to do the job. But in this case, the whole point is mentorship. So that's why it makes sense to have 100% male teachers, 100% male students. And did you tell me already how many students that you have so far? So
we do 40 per year. So our goal always is to get 100% of them sponsored to attend the school for free.
40 per year per grade or total? Total. Omar, can you pull up some of these pictures, because I'm looking at our screen right now. Yeah, share that whole screen. That's a camping trip. Yeah, share that whole screen. It's a camping trip, and he's got a gallery there on the website. We're going to go to that gallery. They're all wearing the Save Institute T-shirts, and they're pictures of the camping trip, which is very impressive. Okay, tell us about your graduates so far. How far in do you have graduates? And let's say people that could say, I've been with Ustad Atiba for 10 years, and this is how my life has changed. Like, how far are you into this?
Absolutely, absolutely. So it's two sides to it. Obviously, I have a lot of, young people that have been with me, since 20 years ago from other programs. We launched Save about 3.5 years ago officially. Um, so we have some of the students who were first with us on that first camping trip, on that first retreat, and then they started the school with us full time fall 2021, and have been with us ever since. Right. So now at this point we have 19 who have graduated, have gone through the program and graduated from high school. We just held our third graduation just last week, and
MashaAllah.
it really is a beautiful thing, right? So just a few years ago, similar to what you were saying, this concept of bringing these aspects of tarbiyah together, the service, the agriculture, vocational training, and entrepreneurship. It was a concept, it was a theory that we believed would be very effective for developing youth, right? Since then, we've put this concept, this theory to the test, and the result of it has been amazing, right? So these young men who have been with us now 3 and 4 years, they've graduated from the program. They really have stepped out as leaders in our community. They're in college, they're in trade school, they're in apprenticeship programs. They're really actually leading efforts and being just really good examples of what a young man should look like in our community. So beautiful thing.
Amazing stuff. Can you tell me something about, tell us a story of one youth? Of course, we're not going to mention names unless you have the permission to, but that sticks out in your mind, that when you say, when you have a hard and a bad day, the remembrance of this youth and how he changed in your mind, it says, keep going.
Ooh, there's so many, honestly, that there's so many. I'll mention one story. We have a young man that he graduated last year. So about a year ago, he graduated from the program. He started with us from the very beginning. When he came to us, he had already, been labeled with, things like ADHD and, this and that. Other teachers had given up on him. He hadn't really been able to find a place for himself in the world, especially like positive peers, no father, and his father actually was killed before he was born. Right. So, he came to us really wanting something, right? Wanting to grow and develop. And he was able to like really take full advantage of the program. And, he just like within the program itself, he really blossomed into a leader amongst his youth. He, got a lot of really good friendships, which really became like a strong brotherhood. He lost a lot of weight, got in shape, active, athletic, graduated from our program. Now he's studying electrical at Atlanta Technical College. He's working for an electrical company, and he's still working with us at Save, leading a lot of our youth initiatives for the younger students. He helps out in the dorm and so many other things. So just really, really beautiful.
SubhanAllah, this is amazing stuff. And we're looking at the pictures here. There seems to be a farm, either that you go to regularly or the farm that you visited. What is that I'm looking at here?
Right. So we have two actually. So we have a small urban farm that we manage here in our urban campus, which is within the Glen Rose Gardens community. But then we also, alhamdulillah, we've been blessed to acquire 78 acres of land outside of the city.
MashaAllah.
So that's where we're building out our new campus. We have already established the farm. So we raise goats, chickens, sheep.
You'd allowed to have goats out there? MashaAllah.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
because here we have some issues with that.
Yeah.
Tell me something. I personally everyone gets so affected by being out in nature. Everyone gets it. Do you notice, do you see a drastic change in people after they spent a good weekend out in nature from before and after?
Exactly. That and that's exactly the point. So we have this 3-day retreat that we do every year. It's called the Rise to Manhood Rites of Passage Retreat. And that's the whole point, to take them out of these urban environments, put them in nature, and really allow for them to just really grow and develop and have a space to reflect. And it's huge, just that alone. Even if we didn't do all of the other activities and workshops, and even if we just had them out there, it's like that's transformative in and of itself.
We did a camp with some kids once, youth, high schoolers, and college kids together. Just a bunch of guys, not a program. And we told the high school youth not to use their cell phones. We keep the cell phone in the tent. I'm telling you, if we hadn't done anything, if we had not organized anything, just say you guys organize yourself and roam around wherever you want, that would have been sufficient. And it would have detoxed their brain off of the tech and into nature. Exactly. So that by itself is amazing. Sometimes some of these places has no reception in the first place. That's the beauty of it. And they have to figure out what to do with their life without a cell phone, So now I want to ask you this question. What you're doing is amazing in itself. But I can imagine, do you have many shahadas? Many people say, my life has been turned around by a Muslim, and these Muslim guys changed my life, and they enter Islam. So it's my assumption. Does that happen a lot?
Alhamdulillah, it has. So our very first school year, we only had one non-Muslim, and alhamdulillah, he took Shahada. The second year, I think we had maybe 3 or 4. One of them, another one of them took Shahada. This year, more non-Muslims came. We had another Shahada. So alhamdulillah, we're just getting started. But yeah, they're coming already, and you could tell a lot of the other ones, they're most likely on their way, inshallah.
Many people say, oh, no, it's about the work. And I say, what is a greater benefit? Why would you care about someone's 30, 50, 60, 70 years he's going to live here, and you don't care about his eternity? And they say, no, you shouldn't use anything for da'wah. No, this is not a club. Islam is not a club that you're joining, that we're trying to recruit you to buy our brand. No. And you say that that's low and it's sneaky. No. We're openly saying in da'wah, the greatest service I could do for you is for your eternal life. Is to transmit to you this ability to save your eternal life. Everything should be really secondary beyond that. And if the only way I can get you to see the importance of that is by helping your worldly life, then that's the cost we pay, right? So in da'wah, no Muslim should ever be ashamed to say that the ultimate goal is not to join my club, not to join my masjid, not to buy anything from me, not even to be my friend. For yourself, give your dues to your God and your Creator so He can give you eternal paradise. Even if you never talk to me again and you never support me again, or organization, or be part of our organization. Doesn't make a difference. You can be Muslim without us. But that's a number one khidmah to do to another person. The Prophet ﷺ said is better than the dunya and what's in it. And if the route to get you to see that is a lifetime of service, then so be it. We'll give the lifetime of service. Because those who don't become Muslim, just wait until he turns 30 and 40 and sees real life and sees who's doing the work. The Muslim guys are doing it. That's the shahada. That's the testimony. And that's what I believe everybody should be doing. And so much yip-yapping about talk is what I introduced the subject on. Iblis wants to deflect your virtue into theory. And he doesn't want to bring your good intention in Islam into actual real life action. That was the introduction to the whole organization, to the whole brother. Now tell me, you must get requests. And this is probably one of the biggest hardships you're going to find. So many communities will say, Brother Atiba, come and do it here. And you have now the challenge that every company, every organization faces of the opportunity, but will it spread us too thin in Atlanta to the point that we don't do as good a job here? So tell us how you navigated that. And I'm already thinking like we need one of these here, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And that's kind of an ongoing conversation, right? So because a part of a part of what we do is like we take these young men on service trips all over the country, right? So so they're visiting Philly and New York and Jersey and Cleveland and Detroit and Texas and many other places, right? So obviously this has resulted in many of these cities wanting for us to bring Save there. The response right now is just that we are still really focused on perfecting the model, right? We've been able to do a lot of really great work, have a lot of impact, but the goal is to really perfect the model before it goes anywhere else. But one of the things that we have started some conversations on is like before even talking about like whole branches or or things like that being developed on this concept of a safe outpost, right? These are like pre-existing schools who want to take on our curriculum, right? So we've developed a pretty innovative curriculum that's been effective. So now other schools are wanting to see how they can take it on. So this concept of safe outpost is just a school. They already have kind of their own establishment, their own staff, everything, but they take on a portion of our curriculum for their boys
And the thing is about these, my personal belief, it's never like the blueprint. It's the people. That's what matters. Like anyone could get a blueprint, but it's the character and the ability to have a sense of care. That's really all it is, right? It's not all it is, but that's the number one thing. It's care and it's dedication to the cause, and it's the accepting, as we said earlier, paradise is surrounded by hardships, and every day fighting through a little of those hardships at a time. That's really, truly, if someone wants to have one of these, what you should do is not worry about the blueprint. Worry about the character. Go, if you want to do something like this, you would go and spend time with someone who's doing it. Don't take as Imam Malik, it was Abdurrahman bin Qasim, I believe, who said, I spent 20 years, who was it? Spent 20 years with Malik. Abdurrahman bin Qasim. He said, 18 years taking just from his adab, meaning his character. 2 years, I wrote all the masail down. And I wish I did all 20 from his adab. Take the character and the intention, and then do it how you do it, right? The how is not the mas'ala. Bila kayf, right? The how is not the mas'ala. Tell me, is there an Islamic Quran Arabic component to the program?
So basically the model that we have is what the idea is that to establish a parallel program, really a parallel organization, right? So keeping Save Institute as really a dawah platform essentially, right? So it's not religious specific, and it's open for everybody. But then to have a parallel program that allows for the Muslim students to be able to study Islam formally, learn Arabic, learn Quran, so on and so forth.
Like an hour after school or something. Very good, very good. Yeah. How about your relations with the broader community of Muslims and sort of like integration of the student or the organization mingling with the other organizations? Have you found any benefit in that kind of mingling between communities so that they feel that now we're actually part of a bigger community? Like maybe this was our first step and the first group that we knew, but now, subhanAllah, this community is massive.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. So like, Fridays, for example, has been a great opportunity for that, taking them to different masajid for Jummah and things like that. So, and then alhamdulillah, the Muslim community, a lot of the masjids have been very supportive as well.
Oh, that's great. So you take Jummah in different masajid.
Yes.
Good. That's a great way for everyone to see it. And the non-Muslims stay home?
So they have an option, right? So they can come with us if they want, or they can or they can be dismissed early.
Amazing. Okay, your biggest challenge now.
MashaAllah. So I think the biggest challenge is really a similar challenges for most organizations, like kind of keeping the momentum going, or really keeping the funding in pace with the growth of the organization, right? So we're wanting to grow and expand and have more and more impact but making sure we have enough funding to keep up with it. So
funding is the hardest part, but they also say that if that's your problem, then you have a good problem, right? Vision, administration, belief, morale, those are the real things. Then if funding is, they say that in the hierarchy, what's that guy called? Laszlo's, in the hierarchy, the reverse. Now, the hierarchy of problems, that's the best one that you want to have, because you can actually solve that pretty easily. Morale, vision, teamwork between the staff and the team, those are like the real. If you have issues there, that you have cancer. But if you just have a lack of money, it's just having a lack of gasoline in the car. Otherwise, the rest of the car is good. So, again, I'm going to tell everybody to go to the website, which Omar has already put the links in. If you're on Instagram, hop over to YouTube so you can see the full picture and see the comments that we're leaving there. And the program, the summer program is called Rise to Manhood. Hey, Omar, let's put on the thumbnail Rise to Manhood, because that's like a really cool name. And support this program. It's the first time I've heard about the program. When Tariq Amir sent it to me, I'm thinking to myself, it's a startup, right? It's something that it is just, starting out. And in fact, it's been 3 years, but it seems like it's the work of 10 years or 15 years, mashallah. So we're extremely supportive and impressed by all this. And I believe this is the real work that people should be doing. So anytime you want to hop on for any announcements, you want us to share any videos, you just text it to Omar, and we're at your service, inshallah. Jazakallah khairan for coming out. Any final things you want to share?
Alhamdulillah. No, again, just grateful to be on the show, and also my encouragement is for all of us to do our part, right? Allah has given us each a gift and things inside of us that we can share with the world. And I think if we all do our part, if we all take whatever it is that we have and utilize it for beyond just ourselves, then the world will look completely different. So alhamdulillah.
Jazakallah khairan. May Allah make you a part of that, and make me a part of that, and make everyone who's watching to become inspired to do the local grassroots work and not fall into the satanic trap of worrying so much about the theory of things that you end up after 10 years having achieved zero. And the hard work, as the Prophet ﷺ said, it's thankless, it's surrounded by hardships. That's actually the sign that you're on the right track. And you feel something on the inside too. You feel actual satisfaction on the inside, as opposed to theory that doesn't satisfy. And Jazakallah khair, thank you so much for coming on.
Alhamdulillah, Jazakallah khair.
Wa yakum. Assalamu alaikum. Okay, there you have it, folks. And it's just amazing that all week I've been contemplating this trick of Iblis, of deflecting everybody's good deeds into things that are truly ineffective. Hey, Omar, some of those pictures were really good. Any chance you can get one of those like in the background? Yeah, that would be good. Some of those shabab doing stuff, right? Okay, we didn't do a lot of Q&A this week, so let's do some Q&A. Did you guys find that hadith, that narration? Yeah. Let's do some Q&A until we wrap up for the week.
I tried to make you a shower, but is it like, I think there might be a problem with the wording, but is it ahyahuma?
Yeah, ahyahuma. Let's see what you're finding. A Shia guy responded to our response to their attacks on Sayyidina Umar, and the first response is when I said that, why didn't Sayyidina Ali say anything about the alleged wasiyah that was going to be written? And the Prophet ﷺ, Sayyidina Umar said, no, wait until the Prophet ﷺ is better, because he was fainting and waking up again. He responded and he said, because he wasn't in the house. Okay, so the news doesn't spread, right? He wasn't in the house, so the news doesn't spread. I didn't watch the rest of it because it was. Okay, time for Q&A. A lot of Atlanta this week. Also in Dallas, there were two brothers from Atlanta. In Dallas. Yeah, two brothers in Atlanta. Came from Atlanta. What's Atlanta to Dallas? That's probably a 4-hour flight. Okay. How do you address the prejudice society holds for black and Asian youth? Well, Asian youth aren't prejudiced against really in America, are they? In England, probably, for sure. Daisy. Despite your efforts to support the youth, the community still treats them as though they are a problem even when they are not. No, I don't. This thing is, again, I personally haven't not found a way to address these huge issues. I just address it locally, address it within the immediate community, right? Like if I see that in our community, we would address it. And that's what I found useful. Like addressing it at the granular level. As for the big broad theories, big broad theories also have these villains that are unnamed, bad people out there, right? And then we go on a rant about those terrible people in the community. Who are the community? Is it you? Is it you? You? Who is it? So that's, again, one of the things that you find in today's society, especially from those who genuinely want justice, but they speak in these vague terms about these phantom bad people. Why don't you specify? Name somebody who did something publicly, who has a public policy that's bad. Then we could change it. We can address it. We can shame him or her. But and I'm not saying the brother's doing this, but to this generic talk about society, the community, I don't find any use in it because I don't know who you're talking about. How can I change something if I don't give me the specific incident? And we could discuss it. If there a policy, give me the specific policy that needs to be changed. Okay? Things like that. That's, to me, where it's more effective. When you get a minute, Omar, please put up Harris Amin's operation. The medical. Kenneth Leachman says, the eye operation, medical, Ocean Eye. Yeah, just keep it up there for a while. I'm a revert struggling with Isha prayer being so late. I work after Fajr, so I can't go back to sleep. What's the solution? The solution, Kenneth, is to sleep after Maghrib. In this case, because there's a reason, it won't, inshallah, the karahiyah won't reach up to you. Won't be discouraged for you. And I've seen many of the righteous people do this. Sleep after Maghrib. Set the alarm for Isha, but before middle of the night. And yes, you will have a disruption there. But it's better off. So let's say you need to sleep at 8:30 p.m. or 9 p.m. Pray Isha as soon as it comes in. Then sleep. Then around 11 p.m., 11:30 p.m., you wake up. And you pray Isha as if it was Fajr. Like that. You know how we wake up, pray Fajr? You wake up, pray Isha. Inshallah, because you're doing it out of a haraj and a need, it won't be makruh for you. And that's what you can do. And it would be makruh if there was no need for that. But the man has to work a long shift after Fajr. And so, inshallah, that'll be a solution for you. What are the rules, says Laith Newton. Why don't you name yourself Ishaq? What are the rules of abiding by the laws of the land you live in? Maybe he'll name his son Ishaq. If it's not a Muslim land, you still have to follow those rules. And if it commands you to do something forbidden, and there is no dire need for it, then you don't do that forbidden thing. But if there is a dire need for it, then it becomes lawful for you to do. In that circumstance, what's an example? Car insurance. We all know that insurance is an unlawful contract in Islam. It's an invalid contract. I mean, it's number one, it's money for money. Secondly, we don't know what we're getting back. We know what we're giving, but we actually do not know what I'm getting back. I could go 10 years and not make a claim once. So I paid, got nothing back. And peace of mind is not a product in Islam to be sold. It's a scam. Someone says, oh, you're buying peace of mind. If I want peace of mind, I'm going to go, I have a family, I get peace of mind from them. I'll have Allah, I get peace of mind from them. What are you trading with me here? Peace of mind is not a product in Islam to be bought and sold with. So it's a money for money deal, that's riba. And it's a gharar deal. Gharar means that I don't know what I'm getting back. Here's a question. What's the best concrete deed we can do for our local community on a small scale? The best concrete deed is to look at the number one pain that's in the community. Every community will be different. Okay. There are some knowledge is so needed in the community. That's the best thing to offer. Others, food is more is what needs to be offered. Others, spirituality. When you go to suburban communities, they are in severe need of spirituality. They're just swimming in materialism. The best thing you could do for such suburban youth is to, well-off suburban youth, is to bring them in for the remembrance of Allah. Another community, it may be knowledge. Another community, it may be physical support, food. Some people, it's diapers. So you find the biggest pain, and then you solve that, even if it's just a little bit. Shofik says, is it possible for Allah to create another God? Astaghfirullah. Renew your shahada and come so I can give you lashes. Okay?
You think his friend is asking that?
Oh, yeah, it's always a friend. He's asking genuinely, is saying this disbelief? It's not, we're not going to, a question is not going to be disbelief. But what you are asking is, can Allah not be Allah, subhanahu wa ta'ala? Can Allah not be Allah? That's the real question that you're asking. Can God not be God? And the answer to that is, what you're saying is an irrationality. It is inconceivable. There's no difference between saying that and saying, can a triangle have more than 3 sides? Or less than 3 sides? Or anything other than 3 sides? You're just mingling up words in an irrational and inconceivable proposition. What we believe in, many people make this mistake, and that's why you have to say it so many times. Inconceivabilities are not associated with divine power, because some people say Allah can do anything. Yes, anything conceivable. Qadirun ala kulli shay. He is capable and all powerful over all things. A thing must be conceivable. Can Allah make a pig that flies in the air? Of course. Can he make... See, there's nothing contradictory there. That's why we believe in miracles and we believe in all things. Inconceivables are a jumble up of words. They are inconceivables. So when you apply the divine power, qudra, apply it to something conceivable, otherwise you are just playing with words. You're fooling around. It's like saying, can you draw me a scumblebee? You go to the best artist in the world, draw me a scumblebee. How can he draw it when it's not a thing? How can he draw it? And it's not likening Allah to the creation and likening Allah to an artist. وَلِلَّهِ الْمَثُلُ الْأَعْلَى. We're showing you what an inconceivable is. We're not likening Allah to an artist here. We're saying there are certain things that are, the words themselves have no meaning whatsoever. So you do not say, can Allah do it? It's a word with no meaning. A triangle with other than 3 sides is no meaning. A God, Allah, who denies himself, negates himself, is not a God then. It would not be a God. Because Allah Ta'ala's definition is he's baqi. You're saying now, can he make himself not baqi? So keep in mind the big difference between conceivables and inconceivables. Qudratullahi mulhaqa bi al-jaizat. That which is jaiz, aqlan. That which is possible. That which is conceivable. Not a mix-up of words. That's why we, as Ahl Sunnah, have firm belief in karamat, mu'ajizat. Easy. We can believe them easily. Allah's qadr ala kulli shay, as long as it reached us with a sound transmission. That's what we ask. We don't ask what it is. We ask, has it reached us with a sound transmission? Yani, the most amazing thing that you could see is already in the Quran. We've accepted it. A woman has a child with no father. Sayyidina Salih, the camel comes out, pregnant she-camel comes out of a rock. What? A rock. You see the rock. They know this rock. It opens up and a she-camel comes out. And we accept it 100% because of the rules of kun fayakun. Allah says, be and it is. Right? Mi'raj, exiting this, not just this universe, be it way beyond this universe, in such a way that the latest telescope footage, have you seen that? It's amazing. It's so far away that it's like light years that we have never seen footage of from before. And yet we believe the Prophet did far more than that. He went further than that and came back in one night with the body. So we are not materialists who limit Allah's power to a set of laws that he created. He created those laws in the first place and is not bound by them. But when we talk about divine power, bringing forth an inconceivable and asking if God can create it is nonsense, essentially. Words had no meaning. And the kuffar do this in philosophy class, the atheists and the philosophers, and they say, can God create a rock that he can't lift? So basically, can God be not powerful? Can God be not God? Same thing. Would you ever come to India? I would go anywhere in the world if there was a use for me there. Is there a use for me in India? What is the use for me in India? You have many shuyukh there. Yeah. But if there was a use, yeah, I'd go. Why not? Even just to see the shuyukh and the mashayikh and meet them and greet them. My friend keeps visiting his dad's grave every chance he has. I feel like it's getting excessive. How do I counsel him? Only counsel him if it's getting in the way of his other obligations, such that to the point that he's losing his friends. He's not going to his job. He's not going to school, like that. And really, it's his family, his other family. It's family that his mother and sister is better off maybe to talk to him about this. But ultimately, you know your friend best. And if your whole friend group recognize that he's gone a little bit too far, you guys can talk to him. If it's just your opinion that he's getting too far, then you could present your opinion to your other friends and his family and see if your opinion is sound. Again, support the SaveInstitute.org. Amazing initiative that is only 3 years. It's hard for me to imagine it's only 3 years old. They have 40 students, some of them living there. You see, every student has its own calamity or its own hardship. Our hardship here in the state of New Jersey is physical space. We're all crammed up. Excitement and things to do is never the problem. You notice that? Like, you never are bored for a day. There's no such thing as you wake up and there's nothing to do. There's always something in the community. Something's going on. If you plug in. If you plug in and you have a sociable personality and a humble personality that can get along with everybody, which is how we're supposed to be with the Muslims, and a sound belief system where we support every Ahl Sunnah initiative, even if we disagree with the furu'a of it, and we want to be part of it, you'll never be bored. But try to go and do something with space and real estate. It's like the space is taken.
There's a lot of space in East Brunswick now.
Really?
Yeah, like there's a lot of commercial space open up.
I want rural space. I want a rural space.
I think in Jamesburg there's a lot of rural spaces.
Jamesburg? Send me links. I want links. Cash has a question. I recently got married and want to know if I have to give Qurbani on behalf of my wife and children, or is it still just for myself that I have to give it to? It's a sunnah for every person who has the ability. If they have money, so your children clearly don't have any money, right? Unless they inherited. Let's hypothetically say that they inherited a ton of money. You now have to issue the zakat for them. That's an obligation. And you do the Qurbani for them, which is a sunnah mu'akkada. If your wife has money. Now, if your wife and kids don't have their own money, then you just do one for yourself. And you take some for yourself, and you give some to the fuqara, and you give some to your friends. I recently saw a video on chicken. I was so disgusted that I'm now of the school of thought that wants to do a tahqiq on if the halal slaughterhouses use these techniques. And I was so utterly disgusted and felt that I don't want to consume this again. Although chicken is everyone's like favorite go-to. It's a quick, cheap protein, right? And it always tastes good. These chickens are hung upside down a lot while they're alive. And sometimes for them for the guy to work with the chicken running around and being annoying and wiggling so much, it's hard for him to put it on the hook. So they just take the chicken, break the legs, so that the chicken can so easily be put on the hook. Then it's clasped onto the hook. And these guys are dealing with so many chickens. They pass, as they're being put on the hook, the conveyor belt's moving. And a splash of water, very light splash of water, is being splashed on their chest to the head. Then the chicken, the conveyor belt goes in a U like this. What's at the bottom of the U? It's a tray of water with electricity running through it. The moment the head of the chicken touches the electricity, the thing gets a shock, a jolt. And you see the chicken jolting like this. Then the chicken is and I had heard about a lot of this, but never seen it. And that's why the shahada of seeing is greater than hearing. Because people tell you something and you're like, okay, well, I don't know. You're just saying it. But when you see it, it has a different impact on you. I had never seen this electrocution part. And I had never seen what what it actually looks like. The chickens are now they're still, because they just got a little bit of a shock. Then there's a knife that's moving so quickly. Boom, 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 back and forth. And it goes like this. And the chickens are going through it. Then there's somebody standing at the edge of that knife, inspecting that each one is beheaded. And then slaughtering it. Just taking it with a knife. Because the beheading may not have worked. It may have sliced the chest, the beak. And so it didn't bleed out properly. And didn't die. Now, if that guy is not there, what happens next is they're dropped into a vat of boiling, scalding hot water. So it is possible that if that guy doesn't get it, that the chicken will go alive into that scalding hot water. Then the chicken comes out of that. Again, this whole conveyor belt's taking it on this horror ride. Then it comes out, and they all get dunked into some agent that cleans it all, purifies them. Maybe it's just a lot of chlorine or something like that, right? And so now they have no skin on them, feathers, I mean. No feathers. Then they dipped into this scalding hot water. I was told that I called one of these guys. I really should do it every year, and I really should develop a relationship with these guys. There's a guy named Sadiq in Maryland, and he says that he makes sure that the chicken is slaughtered. He makes sure that the machine actually gets all the heads. Of course, the Ahnaf cannot eat any of this because they require the basmala on every animal. So, I want to look further into this because it's such a disgusting image that you're like, you almost don't want to ever eat chicken again. That's why I have to see are the Muslim butcheries just Islamic versions of this? One big Bismillah and let's go. If that's the case, then the disgust level is so high, even beyond the Shara'i level. The Shara'i is what's important. But there is also a level of non-tayyib that is so disgusting, because you can have so many violations of the Sharia and makruhat, discouraged things, and even forbidden things, but the animal would still be halal technically to eat. So that's an important distinction there. So yes, you may do many, many forbidden things, but you did slaughter the animal properly. So it is halal, but it's very, very stained with makruhat and muharramat and other things that would make you disgusted from eating it. And if the head's not getting cut at all, then you're outside of the permissibility. I encourage everybody to do some research. We need somebody. I'm telling you, we're going to create the Jersey Sharia board. Like there's that New York Sharia board. We're going to create the Jersey Sharia board. JSB. How's that? That's a good name. Jersey Sharia board. We're going to register it under Safina Foundation or separately. And then part of it is to do investigations of what are we eating. Yeah. It's one thing to say in fiqh al-Muslim yusaddaq. That's what we say as Maliki. A Muslim tells you, yes, I own the factory and it's halal. Al-Muslim yusaddaq. Yeah. But it does need investigation because this was disgusting. Extremely disgusting. I'll turn Ahmed's mic on so he can speak.
Did you hear about how
speak in the mic so everyone can hear? Yeah, speak.
Have you seen how non-Muslim companies what they do to the baby chicks? They legit just shred them.
Oh my gosh, alive?
Yeah. Alive, yeah.
To make the nuggets and stuff?
No.
To make what?
No, it's just they're just useless. They just shred them and kill them.
Oh, you're saying the animal that doesn't make weight or something like that?
Yeah, like baby chicks.
For what reason?
They just shred them because they're useless. The male baby chicks, they just get rid of them because they're nothing. They just
what?
It's too much to maintain them and to actually grow them into chicken, so they just shred them.
Oh my goodness.
No, you can see videos online of that. It's crazy.
People are worse than Yajuj and Majuj.
Yeah.
Of course, not everyone thinks that. Some group of people, they think something else about Yajuj and Majuj, but we're not going to go there. Are detached limbs considered awrah? For example, amputations and skin biopsies. That means let's hypothetically say a woman's arm was let's say cut, amputated. Can you now hold it and move it? Wallahi, su'al Jadid, right? That's a new question to me, right? That is, I'll tell you what question we got is the prosthetic foot, prosthetic hand does not require wudu. Prosthetics do not fall in the category of wudu. You do not make wudu or wipe over a prosthetic leg or a prosthetic foot, for example. بس هذا السؤال وجيه, could you send it to Sheikh Haroon? Yeah, in surgery we just amputated a woman's hand or arm, for example.
A finger, someone cut the finger off or something.
Or a finger, or a thigh, or a leg. Can I move it? Can I look at it while I'm moving it? First of all, there's no shahwa there, right? But these days, I don't put anything past any people these days. The sexual element of the society has gone, it's so disgusting. Even sometimes I go into Facebook feeds and the first thing it brings me is the videos. I have to block half of these videos. The comedy clips, right? The comedy clips, right? The comedy clips. This girl, Maddie, she needs to be dunked and purified. How filthy she is. Her and her whole show.
Oh, no,
right? I had to hit block on every one of these things. But if you do keep hitting block, that the algorithm does change.
Really, it works.
Yeah,
Because I feel like I've been doing it forever. It doesn't work.
I recently got back on Facebook, and I liked their updated. I don't know how long they updated it.
It also depends on who.
They updated a while ago, but it's easier to use now. The Facebook app, right?
I don't have any of that either.
And I know Facebook is like a dying thing, but to me, I like the new app, the update. And I don't know when they updated it because it's complicated. The pages are different than people's regular accounts. And for a long time, pages went off of Facebook and went onto a different app that you have to download. And I'm like, what headache is this? I'm not using this. So now that I got the actual Facebook, which is really just to sell some of my parents' stuff on Facebook Marketplace, then I got on again. That was the reason I got on again. And I'm like, oh, this is actually easy to use. I can post stuff. And then as soon as you go on, though, it shows you what they call it reels, right? Shows you these reels. And the reels, these comedy sketches or whatever, they're just disgusting.
It's really bad, yeah.
Right? There's always been fusaq in society, but there was a limit to how open you are about it. Alif says, how to convince someone to get out of a haram relationship with a non-Muslim. That person knows it's bad, but find it too hard to stop. إنما عليك البلاغ. Just, you have to transmit it to them. Just remind them, and that's it. Big Baller Brandon says, how to pray Qunut in the Maliki school. Can I raise my hands? We don't raise your hands, but if you do, you're not invalidating your salah. And we don't recite it out loud, but if you do, you're not invalidating salah. And we recite it after in the second rak'ah of Fajr before the ruku'ah. And if you did it after the ruku'ah, you're not invalidating the salah. But that's how it is. Silently, before ruku'ah, in the second rak'ah of Fajr, without raising your hands. Speak.
I found the empty land, but I think the issue is maybe with the development.
I'd rather to have a building on it, like an old farm or something like that.
I found like one or two.
Get me an old farm. Any farmers out there that's going out of business? I want an old farm.
But the issue is in over here, they might be redeveloping it, so you can't build another farm. You're gonna have to destroy it and build a single property house or different type of or commercial, depending on how they redevelop.
Harun Mateen says, crush that like button so other people can benefit. All right, fair enough. Yep. I hope all these episodes, says Melody, have helped with some underlining questions with persons, connection, and community. Personal connection and community is so critical. Got to have friends. If you don't have friends, something's wrong. Muslim must have friends. If not, even better than friends is acquaintances, right? Acquaintances is so easy to make. I'm so-and-so, you're so-and-so. We don't have to text. We don't have to invite each other, but we hang out at the masjid when we talk. I love those relationships, right? You don't need to text. You know that I have acquaintances for over 10 years in the masjid. I don't know the guy's name. Wallah, I don't know his name, right? But every day we come and chit-chat in the waves to salah, out of salah. Like every week, 2-3 times. I never asked him his name. I can't remember it. Now I'm embarrassed to ask his name. Right? But that's what I love. Acquaintances is a level of, that's what a sahib is. It's an acquaintance. A sadiq, now we know each other's names. We text and we go out to eat. He comes to my house, I go to his house. That's a sadiq. Then the khalil, be very wary of that relationship. Because if it goes sour, it's very painful. Khalil, like you're in each other's lives. You don't need to go there. Don't get it so close to anybody's life. Just have a bunch of friends and a ton of acquaintances. Any masjid we go to, any one of us probably has acquaintances. If you keep going that masjid 4 or 5 times for salah, you'll make acquaintances. And to make acquaintances is simple. You smile at the person. You say, Assalamu alaikum. Right? Next time, you say, hey, what's your name? What do you do? You live around here? A couple of those simple questions. And then you volunteer the same info from yourself. It's not an interview. You sound like a fed if you do that. So you say, hey, oh, you live here? Oh, okay, I live 10 minutes away, 5 minutes away. What field are you in? I'm a pharmacist. Oh, me too. Okay. Viagra sales are really going crazy this spring. Like that. Okay. Is it in our context? Context, allowed to pretend or act on being on the side of the enemy to get the job done. It's possible to be a spy, yes. It's just a lawful job to be a spy. The Battle of Khandaq, it was won on the pretense of pretending. Al-harbu khud'a, Prophet ﷺ said, lying, war is misleading your enemy. Because in war, we have istibahati qatlihi. We're ibahat qatli. We're allowed to kill the guy. Of course I could lie to him. Any advice for women performing Hajj while pregnant?
Mom did it with my sister.
MashaAllah. Can't give you advice on something I never did, to be honest with you. I'd be a fraud if I did. But ask other pregnant women. There may be things that they know that you don't, that you know, this it's all by experience. Cash says, how do we approach our wife if they are sinning and not taking your advice? We have that in the Quran. And by the way, you have to actually be measured about this. You married a woman who is in the deen maybe 6 out of 10 in the Sharia. They're like, maybe she's not raised on certain things. So you have to go slow and steady. But it has to be made clear that certain things you're not happy about. But also that you can force someone, you have to really, it's more of an art than a science. Okay. Then again, if you married her like that, now don't come and ask me for help, right? You married her like that. You accepted that. Unless you said, well, let's get married, but let's make the intention that we follow all the rules. And she says, yes, okay, fine. Now, you have to go with a more sensitivity and common sense and an art than a science in this. And that's the nature of how to really help yourself first. You do the same thing with yourself. Let's go slow and steady. Let's have some rewards connected to achievements. And every time I do this wrong, I'm going to give $10 in sadaqah, $50 in sadaqah. And you want to make sure that you're not making people feel that they're bad or that you want to make them feel down. You want to make them always feel up, and that you're a source of someone who makes them feel good about themselves. So you do that more by rewarding, so to speak, praising what's good, than saying what's wrong, blaming what's wrong. Then again, you can't stay silent on what's wrong. If something's wrong and it comes up in a conversation, you say, yes, haram. And then the person in front of you gets defensive. Say, listen, don't get defensive because you do it. Just accept it. Take the L. In this case, take the S. Sin, right? Take the meme, ma'asiyah, right? And make tawbah. Listen, don't get defensive and try to change the sharia and pretend you're offended. Take the meme. You say, ana ala ma'asiyah. للأسف الشديد ونتوب إلى الله الله يهدينا جميعا, and we're all trying to get better, right? And you say to the person, listen, I got my own sins, you got your own sins. Let's not pretend here that we have to walk on eggshells around each other when we talk about the Sharia. This is what Allah's rules are. We all try to get there at the same together, all together, as a team and as a unit. That type of warmth but truthfulness simultaneously. And as I told you, it's more art than science, and more sensitivity and give and take than textbook answers to this question. Of course, there are certain things you can't stand for. I'm going on a business trip with Bob. No. That's a problem. That is going to be a problem. Where's this business trip? Oh, nothing. There's a medical conference in Las Vegas. The company's sending me and Bob to go to Las Vegas together, right? Oh, no, we're going to be staying in separate rooms. Ugh, that's going to be a problem. So certain things, of course, you're going to have an issue. Neelan says, is Allah bound by logic? Why can't he do anything illogical? It's not Allah that's bound by logic. You are bound by logic. Your speech is bound by logic. That's what's bound by logic. So when we say, can Allah create a triangle with 5 sides? We're not saying that Allah is bound by logic. We're saying your speech, your question itself has to be thrown on the garbage. It's nonsensical. Your speech has to be bound. Logic and speech are one thing. Okay? because you speak with what makes sense. Speech is the expression of thought. The thought has to be bound by rules. It has to be sensible thought. Every word has a meaning. The whole construction of the sentence and the passage should not contradict itself. Essential two rules of guiding your thought. So for the good question by Neil in here, it's not Allah that's bound by logic. Your speech is bound by logic. So rephrase the question and bring me a better question. A sensible question. Because here you broke the rule of identity. You said triangle, then you said 5 sides. That's a contradiction. So don't ask for that. So your speech is bound by logic. Our speech. What do we say? Al-mantiq. What does al-mantiq mean? It means the speech. وَعُلِّمْنَا مَنْطِق الطَّيْرِ. Sayyidina Sulaiman said, we were taught the speech of birds. Okay, what is the word for logic? Mantiq. It's the same thing. Okay? Speech is an expression of thought.
Yeah, Imam al-Akhtari says in Islam, he says, وَبَعْدُ فَالْمَنْطِقُ لِلْجَنَانِ نِسْبَتُهُ كَالنَّحْوِ لِلْلِسَانِ.
Thank you. Mantiq, logic, right, for in terms of your brain and your thought, is in the analogy of grammar for speech. Tajweed for recitation of Quran. Traffic rules for driving a car. It's all the same.
Yeah, like you look at the definitions of mantiq, the misconception here lies in that people see mantiq as like it's something fil kharij, like it's something external that exists in reality. No, like if you look at the definition of mantiq, one of them that they give is it's an ala qanuniyya. It's a tool, right? So what is an ala? They explain that it means it's a wasita. So it's an intermediary between what? You and the thing that you're trying to achieve, right? So it's a tool. It's not like something that's existing out there. It's like you said.
Exactly. It's a tool between what you have in your heart and what you're trying to express. And
it's not like something that exists out there. Oh, logic and can Allah, contradict? No, it's
exactly. Thank you. Very well said. Muhammad Abdul Ghali says, can we do the same as Sahaba did with Quran by reading 10 ayahs and switching to another after practicing them? You can, but it's not usually the practice of the Muslims to do that. What we do is we study the books of Aqidah and Fiqh, where all the knowledge of Quran and Hadith has been organized for us by the Imams. Alif Fila, do a live on masculinity. Okay. You know Sheikh Omar Aduro? Send him a message. His name is Omar Aduro, right? From Abdullah Aduro from Dallas. Get him on, inshallah. Yeah, Abdullah Aduro. Sorry, I said Omar Aduro. I meant Abdullah Aduro. Because he has a new podcast that's Iman Cave, it's called. And it's all about masculine issues.
It was a Maliki clip. He has his new thing too.
Yeah. What's it called again? The Stronghold of Sultans. And we'll bring him on for that. Invite him too, please. How do I see the Prophet ﷺ in a dream? Make much salawats upon him and ask Allah for it. It's one of the dreams you're allowed to ask Allah for. Can you explain the logical reason why Allah is unlike the creation? Because when we say unlike the creation, the fact that something is created, automatically it has certain properties. The properties is that it's finite, that it changes, that it is physical, that is subjected to causes and effects. The infinite does not have any of these properties. He did not come into being and is not created of anything and has no limits. In that respect, he's wholly different from created beings. And in shared attributes, we can say, if we ever say that, let's say existence. I exist and Allah exists. So how isn't Allah different from me? Yes. Allah exists without support. Allah exists without a beginning. I exist with support and with a beginning. Allah loves and we love. We love because we have dependency. We have needs. And our love has limits. Allah Ta'ala loves without a need. He loves without limits. Like that. Top G says, have you been to Houston? Yes, I've been to Houston. I went to a masjid that was just like a mall, basically. A strip mall. Literally, parking lot as if you're going to Home Goods.
Like they have a deck and everything, or like
No, like huge parking lot. To the point that if the iqamah is called and you're parked at the end, you're not going to catch the first rakah. And it was like a strip mall, like really wide like this. You go in, it has multiple basketball courts, massive musalla. Everything in Texas is bigger. What are some of your 3 favorite books? Well, one of my favorite books is the biography section of Sea Without Shore. One of my favorite books, no doubt about that. What's the ruling on ismailis? Ismailis are 2 types. One group is a mubtadi'ah, and another group are out of Islam. The Nizari ismailis, which they have a seat at Harvard, of course, because they donated. That's the only reason. Otherwise, Harvard would care less about them. They're Nizari Shia, also known as the assassins originally in history. And they don't pray, they don't fast, they don't make Hajj. Or they reinterpret this as Hajj is to visit their Aga Khan when he's not on his luxury yacht, getting divorced from his latest European wife. When he's not doing that, then you can make Hajj to him. That's what Hajj is. It's to him. Because they say Hajj was to go meet the Prophet. So now it's to go meet the Imam. They don't pray 5 times a day. They don't fast Ramadan. So where's Islam? Are these not known in religion by necessity? If you get any person who's vaguely heard about Islam, they know that this is what Muslims do. So the Nizari Shia are out of Islam. But the Bukhari Shia, they don't reject these known in religion by necessities. And they have a masjid here, and my neighbor's one of them. Yeah. They pray, they fast, and they don't respond to they don't follow the Aga Khan.
I found the farm.
What did you find? A farm? Het. Shofik616 says, if a person says, I believe Allah can create another God. هذا كافر. هذا كافر. Simple as that. It's Muslim. Believe Allah can create another God. No.
It's about 50 minutes away, and that's the closest.
50? Take this back. How are we going to make Dar Fat's 50 minutes away? Maximum radius 15 minutes drive. Is all chicken stunned? If it's stunned, we're not allowed to eat it. Oh, stunned to kill or stunned before? Stunning it before, I believe that even the hand-slaughtered chicken, they do this. And they say it's a relaxing stun bath, it's called, to relax the chicken. It's funny when I read that in a fatwa one time, and I said, oh, is that what you do when you relax? Go home, sit on your rocking chair, and put your feet in some electric water? They say it relaxes the chicken. Relax is one word to put it, okay? I don't think it relaxes the chicken. We got to wrap up. Ismail says, is Crescent chicken like this? Well, that's who I contacted, and he said that we give one Bismillah on all the chickens, and we have someone at the blade, and any chicken that was missed, we then cut it ourselves. And we say Bismillah, we cut that chicken ourselves. So I said I was satisfied with that answer, but that was a number of years ago. We got to call them back and always check. Like restaurants and food, you have to always check. Things change.
We got a comment from Mr. Clay Potter. He's saying, Sidi Atiba has created the solution for young black men in America. Our son just graduated from SAVE. What an amazing program.
Amazing. Subhanallah. Amazing. Again, go to thesaveinstitute.org and give him a hand.
So you're just looking for like a property with a big acreage?
Yeah, I want a farm. A guy who's getting rid of a farm. Right? And he could even stay on the farm and keep, pay us rent.
Yeah.
But I want to put daughter Fat on a farm.
There's this place by where I live. It's like a abandoned farm, but they're redeveloping it into single housing.
Too bad.
But I was talking to this guy. He's a convert, and he used to be on a board of property zoning. And he was telling me that you can buy any type of property, and you can turn it, if you make it into a house of worship,
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if it's commercial, residential, you can build it there. So if you get Darul Fat to be like a house of worship, then you can build it like a residential area.
We'll look at East Brunswick for sure, inshallah. Jazakumullahu khairan, everyone. Let's wrap up here. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك نشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت نستغفرك ونتوب إليك والعصر إن الإنسان لفي خسر إلا الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات وتواصوا بالحق وتواصوا بالصبر. Quick question here. Why can't women wear non-gold? No, she can wear non-gold. Who said she can't wear that? She can wear that. Women can wear non-gold. Women are not subject to wearing to any prohibitions on jewelry. They can wear any stone, any metal. وصلى الله على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم والحمد لله رب العالمين.